Hi guys, so in today's video, I wanted to share with you an interesting post that I came across on Reddit. I have been spending a lot of time on Reddit recently, and one of the communities, I guess, that I am part of is a CNA community, obviously, because I've worked as a CNA since 2016. I still find it interesting to hear other people's experiences within the CNA realm. And I like sharing my own experiences and advice and tips to people who are just starting out as CNAs, which I'm sure you guys are well aware since I've shared quite a few tips and tricks that I've learned in my different jobs on here. So anyways, this post I found interesting because of the question. So this was a question, and I'm going to read some things that this person or the people that are responding to this person had to say, and then I will share my own experience or my answer to this question. So the question is, why have you or your colleagues quit? So this person says, a friend who works in retail was telling me that the number one reason people leave jobs in retail is the lack of flexibility. You have to promise your employer availability for certain hours on certain days, but there's no guarantee you'll even get those hours on those days. I thought that was interesting and not obvious from the outside looking in. I'd have guessed bad pay and dealing with rude customers/management would have been more to blame. What's the equivalent for CNAs? Somebody says, the washing machine stopped working and they didn't fix or replace it. Yes, we used rags. Yes, it smelled worse than you can imagine. And yes, I called the state on them. A lot of people I know who have quit were basically forced out by disgusting and unsafe conditions. I've heard of ACs not working, heaters being broken in the winter, lifts not working, and so on and so forth. The things facilities try and get away with should be criminal. Someone else said, burnout, underpaid, overworked, no help from nurses or other CNAs. The pandemic came and pushed me over the edge. I was done after that. Someone else said, I quit my job at the nursing home because I got injured and they didn't like that I filed for workman's comp for the injury that was their fault. They caused a toxic environment and I called them out on that as well. I threatened them with legal action if they kept trying to fire me/play games with me. After I left, I heard when former coworkers tried to file for workman's comp, they tried to get them to sign that they wouldn't sue them later. Apparently, I made an impression. Someone else said, short staffing leading to burnout, the facility accepting residents with no vetting process, leading to people we can't actually provide adequate cares for. For example, a restraint-free facility taking someone who had to be restrained at the hospital to keep them from falling every time they stood up. Or the registered sex offender when we have high school kids working that unit. The social worker and support staff are so useless that behaviors aren't properly addressed. This actually chased away a CNA who had been there since the 70s. She went to another place and works a couple days a month for them instead because of 3 particular people. One is just mean and gets her kicks making up horrible, dramatic stories about how we do this or that awful thing. She has temper tantrums and throws everything around her room when we don't stop what we are doing to look for something of hers. She tells us her awful behaviors are all because our social worker has pissed her off and lied to her family about her. The willingness to pay the rates for agency aides but not to give us a raise. I'm at $13.75 an hour after 5 years. Accepting more and more residents when we just don't have the staff. I have 21 people on my unit and very grateful that I only have 3 Hoyers so I can do it myself because help is non-existent when there's only 1 aide per unit. My usual nurse is amazing and he helps me so much, otherwise I'd never make it. The list of reasons is endless in this last few years. Someone says, I got placed somewhere where they would use dandruff shampoo to clean residents. No soap. When I asked about it, my agency asked me to just tolerate it. Oh my gosh. Someone said, I didn't know I had arthritic hips. I just knew I had chronic pain. CNA work exacerbated it to the point I had to have a full right hip replacement at 49. My other hip is bad too, but not hurting. Also, I got hit with a megadose of COVID before the vaccine, and it took me down for 5 weeks, and now I seem to have long COVID symptoms and suffer from chronic fatigue. Also, the work left me exhausted for days, and they wouldn't pay more than $12 an hour. To me, that's ridiculous. So I'm going to share my story of why I quit. And I have talked about this in different videos on my channel. There are a multitude of reasons why I have left every CNA position that I have worked. Some of it was due to nurse bullying or, other CNAs bullying me. When I say nurse bullying, I mean within the nursing field, and CNA is part of the nursing field. I was really being taken advantage of by a couple different facilities. My very first CNA position, in fact, I was taken advantage of horribly because of the fact that I was willing to pick up extra hours. Like, there were times where I was working 80 hours a week, not in a pay period, in a week. And I was so exhausted. I was very burnt out, very stressed out, barely sleeping, not eating correctly. And it led to me eventually ending up in the hospital for over a week because I had a stroke. That could have ruined my life. And after that, I refused to work that much and basically overwork myself to death because that was what it almost came to. And as far as like the nurse bullying thing, it's so ridiculous. Like, why can't we just work together to provide the adequate and appropriate care for our residents? Why does it have to be like, oh, I'm better than you and all this other stuff? Like, it's so catty and it's so much drama. And ever since I left, the facilities where that was happening, it was like 1,000,000 pounds got lifted off my shoulders. And just the stuff that you see working in nursing homes and long-term care facilities, like, you see so much. And honestly, a lot of it is traumatizing. You see people who their family members are basically assholes to the staff, but they won't even come in and visit their family member. Or you'll see somebody who wants to get pissed off, but they have no idea what their family member is dealing with. They have no idea how combative their family member gets. So like sometimes when the person is refusing to allow us to take care of them or refusing for us to provide care to them, like they don't understand why we might ask for like different PRN medications or different things, whether that's like a different setting, maybe moving someone from a regular unit to a memory care unit. A lot of families don't seem to understand that they need that extra care because they don't come in, they don't really like interact with their family member. So it's just, there's a lot of reasons. And, I don't think that it's worth it to overwork myself. I don't think it's worth the stress that I was under. Because I'm the type of person who, when I'm taking care of someone, I go above and beyond to make sure that I do it the same way that I would want someone taking care of me. Having been a patient, like after my stroke, having to have people turn me in the bed because I couldn't move my one leg, like I needed help. I needed help with toileting. I needed help with sitting up on the edge of the bed. I needed help with a lot of different things, and having to be in that position myself, even before then, I always would strive to, go above and beyond to make sure that people had what they needed and were comfortable and happy. But after that, like, it just solidified that that's how it needs to be and that's how it should be. But sadly, a lot of these residents don't receive that type of care at the facilities that they are living in. So anyways, that's my answer. If you guys have worked as a CNA or in the medical field in any facet, let me know what is a reason you quit if you quit, because I'm curious to see if other people have the same experiences that I have. So yeah, anyways, that's it for today's video. If you guys have any questions or you want me to talk about a specific topic, please be sure to let me know. I'd be glad to get something filmed for you. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys next time.